Stress, panic, worry, everything right now seems to be destroying altcoins, and there's no end in sight. Now, I, for one, well, I'm pretty worried. As a matter of fact, I'm actually frantic right now. I know I'm putting on a pretty good game face, but I'm frantic and worried not because of my altcoins, but because of you. I'm frantic for you. I'm panicked for you because you are selling your damn altcoins, and most of you aren't even up right now. Most of you are new to the crypto space and you've pretty much break even, maybe 10% up, which is nothing but a rounding error in the crypto markets. Now, I can't give you a nice massage, but what I'm going to try to do today is lay everything out so simply for you. You're going to feel like you just went to a day spa and got a nice warm massage from a girl in a bikini or Magic Mike, whatever sex you are. So either way, I think my plan here for you is pretty simple. So make sure you stay tuned right to the very end because I've got some pretty good pointers in here that you do want to hear and adopt, I think, for the most success in this bull run. And with that being said, make sure you hit the like button and you're subscribed as well because that is going to allow you to make the most out of this bull run. Now, today I'm going to cut straight to the point. I don't want to muck around with any extra words. I'm just going to say exactly what it is to make sure you absorb this and you can move on your day like nothing ever happened. So first of all, these sort of drops in crypto are completely normal. Mass liquidations across the market, which is healthy. When we move up, everyone also thinks we're moving up in perpetuity forever. Now, this isn't sustainable. We have to have pullbacks, and a lot of these times, these pullbacks have to liquidate people in order for us to set these new stages, if you will, this new sort of level for us to then move up to even higher levels. Bitcoin here fell down 12.5%. From its high a couple of days ago to its low a couple of days ago, you can see on the 5th. But if we actually zoom in even further, pretty much on the day, well, actually yesterday even, we only dropped down 6% in Bitcoin's price, which, mind you guys, is completely normal. On Twitter, I said earlier in the day, I woke up to a bunch of panic, people saying the bull run's over. It honestly is so frustrating for me to see this, knowing this is what's going to happen next. We've had a minor drop. Look at this, 17% on Bitcoin's price, 10%, 30%, 26%, 13%, 11%. Guys, the drop we saw, not even today, even 3 or 4 days ago on the 5th, that was a fraction of what the dips are going to be in the future. If you can't handle this, I'm sorry, but you're not going to make it. So get it in your head now that a drop like this is completely normal. Actually, looking at altcoins, these guys fell down 26% from here a few days back to what it was yesterday. If we're actually isolating it to today, okay, yeah, today isn't over, obviously, it's 11% so far. Now, again, we saw way worse in the last cycle, 40% here, 25% here, 21, 40%, and so on. As a matter of fact, you can see here, just generally speaking, every single day, open to close, we spike either direction, a give or take 10 to 13%, because just so much money comes into this space, which is very volatile. You know this, right? You knew this before you came into crypto. These things are volatile. That's why I say I'm not into micro caps or small caps right now, because we have plenty of time to make good money still on the big caps that can come later on. It's just way too volatile right now and still will be. Retail is already panic selling their recent entries. They buy expecting instant 10x's. Put your hand up right now. The hand of shame if you entered the space in the last couple of months expecting to get quick, easy money. It ain't easy, it ain't quick. That's why I've created this channel to help you guys out. So you freak out on your first 10% dip. This is a good sign to see them selling after the first dip. Why did he say this is a good sign for you to be selling after this first dip? He's saying this is good for people like me. This is good for the guys that's been in the last couple of years in the bear market, because you are the ones that react the most to good or bad news. When the market's heating up, when Bitcoin's at 150, or maybe if it goes to $200,000 and there's articles saying 300K's next, you are the guys that are going to be buying up there still. You're going to be the guys panic buying because Bitcoin's up 20%, or your altcoin like Render is at $90 going on $100. I'm over here already out of the position. You're the one still thinking it can go to $1,000 or Bitcoin to 500,000. This is what he's saying. That's why he said it, because you are reactive, and this is proof to us that you, retail, easy money, are back. You're back to make me money. So don't be those people. I'm saying this because I want you to succeed. I'm not saying this because I like yelling at my camera. Alex Becker over here, I don't trade or even check my portfolio most months. This is all you have to do, nothing. You can literally log off for a few months. This is actual alpha. And I added this and saved this because he's 100% right. Most of you would benefit from logging off and coming back, setting very low and realistic sell levels, and that's it. Because you actually get in your own head. Now, Bitcoin dominance here has only fallen about 7% from the recent highs at about 62-ish%. It's fallen only 7%, guys. All right. Now, the reason we want to see Bitcoin dominance fall is because that gives alts the reason to pump. Bitcoin comes down, alts go up. It's very simple. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's inverse correlation, okay? Now, alts had a massive run up, well, way past this, up to about 40%. Now they're down to 26%. Now, why am I pointing dominance out? Well, like I said, this is really required for alts to pump. Bitcoin's dominance has to come down. And when it does come down, it normally reaches a level that tells us, hey, the market's top all-time high is usually near. Because when Bitcoin's dominance falls down to around about, give or take, 40 to 45%, the top of the market's close. Now, it's interesting because you guys are forgetting that in the last cycle, Bitcoin didn't just free fall its dominance all in one big hit. You can see here it fell down, went sideways, and then fell again. So why are we forgetting about the middle chop? I have no idea, right? It topped, so we recently topped. It fell an average of about 14%. What happened recently? All right, it topped. It's fallen an average of about 8 to 10% here. Again, we have more money in the space. We have the ETF, so I believe that's probably pretty much equal this time around. And then it moved sideways a bit. Now, it actually bounced back on some of these days, as you can see here, upwards of 5 to even 8%. Now, what's it jumped up recently? All right, it's jumped up recently around about 6 to 8%. So this is completely normal. Again, if we toggle alts here, what did alts fall down? Alts fell down 10%. What happens over here if we toggle altcoins again, and we have a look at what happens on some of these days when, again, Bitcoin decides to move sideways and move up? We have these sort of 8 to 10% drops, okay? Again, over here, 8 to 10% drops. It's completely normal, and it would not surprise me at all if Bitcoin kind of chops here for a bit and does the same thing again, and alts do the same thing as well. Well, actually, it would be the inverse, obviously. So again, guys, do not panic. This is completely a part of the game. People always forget about this. If it's markets are pumping, they think, hey, it's never going to come down. And when it goes down or isn't always pump, when it's just doing its normal thing, people think, oh my God, doom and gloom. And you hear about these guys on Twitter or in a YouTube comment section, and they start spewing this stuff, and you believe them because no one's disproving them. All right, if you only have one side of the argument and no one's there sort of instantly saying, hey, you're actually wrong because of this, or have you thought about this, then again, you start to think either direction. Okay, you've got to have both sides of the story. So I want to take you guys through some of the altcoins I purchased today and the thought process I had in short as to the reason why I bought these altcoins over other altcoins. Now, just because I didn't buy an altcoin I always talk about doesn't mean I don't like that altcoin. My portfolio has about 17, 18 altcoins at this point. I bought the ones I did today for strategic reasons. Okay, and this is why it's so important. I say to you guys, look, if you get a weekly wage, all right, don't just throw that in as we're moving up. We've been moving up the last month and a bit now. So you can obviously do that for altcoins that haven't quite pumped yet. But for me, it makes sense to hoard some cash for moments like these. If what I said over the last 5 minutes taught you anything, it's that we have a lot of ups and downs to still come. We've only had a little nibble, like you can see down here, of about a 10% minus day. If it's anything like the previous cycles, even with the ETFs included, we're likely going to see around 20% minus days here for Bitcoin. So again, what do you do in a situation where you have a bit of cash and you want to put it in the market on a down day? Well, for me, there's some pretty simple rules you need to follow. 40-40-20 DCA rule, where you invest 40%. Now you hold off for a bottom, basically, right? So we can kind of feel like where the bottom is, you put 40% in there, and then you put in 20% either if it still falls down, or you put it in if the reversal comes, okay? The confirmation of the reversal or the bullish trend. You could also go in a 50-50, right? You could just put half in now and half in later. This is much more aggressive, and I wouldn't recommend this. You also don't want to go too sparse, where it's like you put in like 10% over 10 different levels, right? 10, 10, 10, 10. I mean, you can, but from my own personal experience, it is just best to go the 40-40-20 rule, or at most, I think 25 by 4, right? So 25 4 different times, because you've got to have a lot of patience to do that. Now, what this looks like here on Render's chart, for example, is buying at times like this, right? Where you buy in up here, maybe that's like right now after give or take let's say like a 20 or 30% pullback. Then you buy in, and then it falls. We kind of find a bit of a floor here. You invest again. Now, if it decided to fall again and find more of a floor, you'd put the last 20% in here, obviously. If it kept falling, well, ultimately, it just is what it is, right? You're just trying to buy the bottom. Now, it didn't do that, obviously, and most of the time I've down with the 40-40-20 rule, usually if you're just a little bit patient, you'll be able to put this last 40% in towards nearer the bottom. And this last 20% you can use on sort of like the confirmation of the reversal. Okay, now you might have bought up here, for example, rather than over here, and that's fine. And it doesn't have to always work out. Price can still go down, but your average buy-in price is actually anchored pretty well in the middle of all these levels. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here. We're not looking to get the best possible outcome. We're just looking to get in at a fairly decent average. Same thing here with Fetch, right? Or ASI these days. This coin was, 40% here, possibly 40% here. Again, you wait for the sort of bottoming. Again, you don't have to time the exact bottom. That's not what we're trying to do here. So you might have missed out on a little bit better results, sure. And then you might have put the last 20% in on the bullish reversal, okay? And so you'd be up a little bit right now. That's the whole point of the 40 to 40-20 rule. That last 20% again can go either way. You can get even lower, or you might wait for the reversal, but that's just my point of view from all of my experience. So what are the coins I purchased? Well, I bought 4 coins today at different market caps, but most of them were all at the same rough size. So I bought Near Protocol, Injective, Ondo. These are all large caps. Obviously, Near Protocol, almost 10 billion market cap. Here's quite a large one. I'll tell you why I bought this here in a second. And also I bought some more of Morpho. So what is Near? Near's layer 1. It's right into the AI narrative space. It's also, I think, going to be a bit of a Solana coin in this cycle where it kind of has results similar to Sol breaking above 100 billion market cap. I truly do think that. And I think today is a pretty good dip, honestly. Now, I bought this coin because I worked out my average buy-in price, and essentially it came out that it would actually get me on the top side more money than other coins I own. And the reason being is because I have a very low average buy-in price of about $2 for Near. So buying tokens even this high, my average buy-in price only going to move up a little bit versus buying a coin like Render where my average buy-in price is much higher. I'm still getting high multiples out of Near. Okay, so it's a bit of a safer play in my opinion, and I worked that out with one of the bull run cheat sheet tools here. So why it's very important you guys take advantage of tools like this in the bull run. I actually made a video on how to properly DCA on the channel. I'll leave the link down below. I gave this to you completely for free. I made a full video you can see here in the private community. It's a 50-minute video on how I DCA every single time I go to DCA into any coins. I also use my portfolio exit tracker as well in the private community. It's so important you guys track this stuff, your average buy prices, and when you go to buy, you make sure that you analyze exactly what the outcome will be based on the DCA before you actually do it. It's so important for us to be overcritical, guys, when it comes to dollar cost averaging, because this can really allow us to do two things: make more money in crypto or lower our average buy prices. And so what this looked like for me with my position here on, Render and Near was that by buying Near Protocol, I was able to add an additional about $30,000 of revenue on top of this particular DCA than I would have with Render. And what that meant was I was able to actually move down my average buy prices on some of my coins ever so slightly to meet my goals. If that made no sense to you, I really recommend you watch this video. And if you want to learn the actual deep critical information here, to join the private community. I mean, even for a month, if you join up here, you're going to be able to learn so much. And even in a month, you'll be able to then hopefully make some of these critical decisions yourself. Now, Injective was obviously another pick here. The reason why I picked Injective is because it's probably the lowest or least amount of invested coin I have in my large caps. I'm still very heavily in Injective, but compared to my other coins, not quite as much. So I doubled down on Injective here. I had a really good entry at about $17. It was a great entry level. Many of you guys also got into that point as well. And as a result, we got some pretty low average buy prices. So buying up here hasn't moved it up too much. I think right now my average buy-in price is about $20 or so for Injective. These guys are also hitting the real world asset sort of narrative, which I'm kind of lacking right now, which is why I went even deeper into Ondo. So I went even deeper because, again, I'm kind of missing out on the RWA sort of play here, and Ondo is my main and only pick. But in saying that, it's a massive quality pick. They have some amazing catalysts coming up very soon for project. And what this means is, I think, insane price appreciation in January or Q1 of next year. They also are not listed on Binance, and I'm expecting Binance to list them within the relatively short term. So that obviously will cause insane price spikes, hopefully even going as high as to hit some of my sell levels. The last coin I got into was the smallest coin of all. It's Morpho. Morpho is institutional lending and borrowing on Base. And honestly, this coin is a hidden gem, to say the least. It kind of arguably is loosely real-world assets, but again, just like most of the other coins I classify as possibly RWA, it's not really hitting it. It's mainly DeFi, right? So like I said, this coin here is focusing on the lending markets, and it has currently at $2.9 billion of TVL, and considering the market cap's 300 mil or under 300 mil, that's about a 10-to-1 market cap to TVL ratio, which is fantastic. So all in all, I think this tweet here from Income Sharks kind of highlights my main position in some of these coins, where it's like utility versus memes the last 30 days, right? On the left is holding utility, zero ROGs and zero stress, versus on the right, which is like meme coins, up and down, overall negative, and it comes with a lot of volatility, right? It's a lot of extra stress involved with that. So that's why I stay away from meme coins. I'm only in one meme coin in my portfolio. Even with following the narrative performance in the bull run cheat sheet, memes are up and down 100 to 150% from where they are right now, like every day. So the volatility is definitely there, whereas AI and other utility-based coins have a pretty average slow growth of their narrative strength. So guys, that was my purchases today. That was some of my outlook on the market. Whether we fall lower from here or not, it's completely planned and a part of the cycle. You worrying and stressing, I think the best thing to do in some of these times is to just log off and walk away and come back in a few days, or just DCA. It's very simple, right? So with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves, guys. Bye-bye.